Trying a new microphone setup here. All right, it's time to start getting this thing cleaned out. Since the motor is going off to the machine shop, first we'll start with whatever the hell this is. It's a wheel. I don't know. We'll chuck it. It's just a lot of garbage in here. All right, what do we got? Got some fishing gear. Oh, a little duct tape. Doggy bags. I kind of want to save those. Just going to try to kind of clean this out a little bit. This was all left over from the tweakers that stole it. This is their soda. Gotta love it. More of their tasty beverages. Their Starbucks cup. What's left of my club that they cut, you know, and the tools they used to steal it. They didn't totally destroy the ignition. You know, I think I've gone over all this in previous videos, but just wanted to kind of show it again. Since then, I've put the paddle shifter on it. Don't know that I'm going to keep that. I just kind of had it. And so if we decide to do an automatic transmission, which is still pretty high on the list, then I'm going to go with the paddle shifter. I don't know how I'm going to make all that work yet. So that's going to be definitely a task with quite a bit of research required. This is hilarious. I was digging through here some more and just found a soccer ball. Yep, that's funny. Vents. I was just going to try to put the back seat kind of back in so that it didn't look quite so ghetto. You know. There we go. All right, now it looks more like a car. At least it has a back seat that doesn't match some of the center console. Bunch of garbage. You know, I almost feel obligated to go play soccer with this thing, but I'm gonna instead chuck it in the garbage because it's just bad. I need something to do on this thing. So I was digging through here. I found more parts that I never actually got around to installing. These are actually Tanabe GF210 springs. I stripped and repainted them. Just painted them orange because that was kind of the theme I've been going with on the car. Don't know that I'll continue that, but what I have are struts and Koni shocks. So we're gonna make these two things into one thing. So rear. So I'm gonna go show you guys how to chop up a strut and turn it into a Koni. So the first thing you do is you chuck up your strut in your vise just to kind of hold it in place for the next step. I dropped my dust boot. You're gonna want to make sure you have a bucket or something underneath it because inevitably, she's gonna make a mess. So you need to find the center of the base, or pretty dang close to it, because you're going to drill a hole. And we start with just a really small hole. I'm gonna have to change this a little bit. It's not quite sturdy. I just don't want to deform that, so we're just going to hold it snug enough to where it holds itself. And then go ahead and get in here with the drill. You want to wear safety glasses for this because you'll see why. Now if the struts are blown, this is much simpler. But if they're not, apparently I grabbed the world's dullest drill bit for this task. I had to rechuck. That didn't work so well. All right, we're through. And that strut was clearly blown because nothing came out. And that is shock fluid. All right, so we have now taken the pressure out of it. Now we get to cut it. Measure this from there to there, and my battery's dead, but that's 46. And then on the chart here it says 46 goes to 40, so then we measure down here 40. And that's where we want to mark to cut. So I'm going to come down here 40. And that's where I'm going to mark. Close enough for this kind of a job. This is not required to be exact. Just to confirm, I'm going to kind of hold this where the bottom, because it's basically going to bolt through the bottom. And then that looks a little too high, to be totally honest. Yeah, we'll do it there. You can always cut more off. You can't put it back on. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it there, and then we'll drop the strut in and see how it looks. Got my cool saw. See if we can't get this done pretty quick. Oops. Well, we're coming loose in my vise again. Tighten it down a little bit. I just didn't want to deform it. So I'm through. You can see it smoking. That's actually the fluid. This fluid's super flammable. Ask me how I know. Actually, surprisingly, it wasn't me that lit it on fire. It was Zach. I don't know that that's surprising. Come to see it. So I'll turn that a little bit. Tighten it back down and see more fluid coming out there. Right, we're through there. Just keep going around. Losing Koni parts, they're flying off the counter here. Spin some more. Should be the last spin. There goes more fluid. That's why I said put the drain pan below you. Come on now, see? I've seen people do this with a cutoff wheel, and I don't recommend it because with the cutoff wheel you create lots of sparks. So I get wrapped up in my microphone. You need to get a cordless one. But so now the strut just comes right out. This is the actual piston from the factory strut. You can see it just kind of is in there. This bump stop is trash, so I'm not going to probably reuse that. Anyway, there is the inside of the factory strut. So we are gonna have to drill that bottom hole a little bit bigger. I just made like a pilot there for now. It's a little tiny guy. They say 3 millimeters. I think it's bigger than that. I'll have to see how big the bolt is because the bolt looks pretty big. So now we just put this in, see if it fits. So yeah, So that's going to basically smash down in there and it's going to center itself. And then you have a strut insert. You can see not super close down there, so I'll have to drill that hole a little bit bigger and see how close it is. But that is the basic concept. There is, let me find the bolt here. So here's bolt and washer, and this essentially just goes up to the bottom there and snugs it in and pulls the strut and holds the strut into the housing, and then you assemble your spring and top hat just like stock, and you have created a Koni strut out of a factory housing. It's pretty trick. It's definitely the cheapest actual sport level suspension you can run. These struts are amazing on a decent spring. That's why I have the Tanabe springs for them, and this thing should ride awesome and handle great. All right, I got the strut in. It's a little closer to the bottom. You can see I drilled the hole out, so now you can actually see where it sits down there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to throw this guy in. All right, so there is enough threads. I think I can get it started in the proper washer and everything. So let's see if it grabs. All right, it does. So now we're basically just going to suck the strut in using the bottom bolt. So now if you watch up here, it's going to slowly go in. So down here, just pulling it in. Now we're getting snug. So what I'm going to do now, just to see if I'm at the torque point, so I'm going to go ahead and back this guy out and see if it's all the way at the bottom or not. And then if it is, I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on this guy. And yep, so you can see it's all the way at the bottom, which means we're perfect. So I'm just going to throw a tiny bit of Loctite on this and put it in, and the strut will be done. Got a little Loctite on this. Koni says 55 foot-pounds. So I got my torque wrench. We're at 55. This is a Mac wrench. This isn't the best wrench. I mean, it's a good wrench, but it just hasn't been calibrated in a long time. Let's see if it'll click without me having to tighten the vise down. So you can see that little crush washer is crushing. There it goes. All right. We're torqued. I don't torque everything to spec. I'm not going to lie and say that I do. But I do tend to torque suspension stuff to spec if there is a readily available spec. And when they've got the spec printed on the instructions, it's hard to excuse not actually torquing it. So there you go. That is one Koni Yellow Subaru strut. Simple as that. I put the little dust boot on. It just kind of helps keep, I guess, dust from getting down inside the strut assembly. There it is. Koni Yellow. Adjustable, beautiful sport suspension. Just gotta do that 3 more times. And then assemble them, and then put them on the car.